everyone. We have made it to session 5.
Yes.
Can you believe that 5 weeks have gone past
Mm,
and next week is our last session? Oh my God. Like,
yes.
how did we do that?
Yes.
And
Went
I'm
by
still
fast.
have yeah, and I'm still having so much fun.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to like, oh, I have so much more I want to share and so much more that they could get out of it. And I'm like, okay, so you know what that means, Theresa. Just gonna have to do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to do it again. We'll have to do more and
Yes.
more and just let it roll out and let it do what it needs to do. So
I love
really,
it.
really excited by that. Just really excited by the fact that we've come this far. And I don't think I know that both of us have given some great value and created some impact,
Yes.
gave much food for thought and a lot of the foundational steps that are needed to really pull us along on this whole
Mhm.
entire journey. And the journey is long. So we're literally
Mm,
just giving you the very, very, very starting point to the
yes.
journey. This is just the extreme starting point to the journey. But tonight, Theresa and I are going to talk about those things that you do on the journey that keep you from moving forward.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that you can do, but we decided to just pick 11 of them and we're going
Mm-hmm.
to discuss them. We're going to, we're each going to discuss, and it's going to be a nice presentation and dialogue because there's a lot of examples that we can give for each thing. So we're going to try to make it as robust as possible. And again, I say every session, make sure you have your paper, make sure you have your pen, make sure you are writing tons of notes.
Yes.
And if you have questions, you can put it either in the Q&A or the chat. We will read them as we go.
Mhm.
This one can be definitely a little bit more interactive. So if you have something to say while we are talking after we've, spoken about each section, feel free and we'll, discuss it at that time unless you want to wait to the end. So I am going to, unless Theresa, if you have anything you need to say.
No, I'm ready.
All right. So I am going to share my screen for session 5. Woohoo! Exciting. So here we go. Come on. There we go. So our agenda for tonight, like I said, things that prevent you from moving forward. Don't get stuck. Practical guidance on the journey. So Theresa and I worked on this, and we're so excited to share some
Yeah.
things. And our agenda for tonight is to define stuck, define analysis paralysis, and the 11 ways that we picked, that 11 ways you keep your business from moving forward, and some practical tips to overcome them. So we're going to share a lot about the things that we've been through and that we've had other entrepreneurs that we've worked with gone through. We've been both been doing this collectively for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that qualifies us to have some in-depth level of experience
Yes.
around these things. So, definition of stuck and analysis paralysis.
Whew. Those words make me shiver.
I know.
I know it's stuck. I had to look in the dictionary, of course, because I wanted to see like just the different,
Mhm.
definitions for stuck. And
Right.
so one of them said inability to move,
Right.
set in a particular position or place or way of thinking. You're
Hmm.
set in that. Not able to continue, left in a state of no progress. Nothing is progressing. Oh my goodness. And I
Ooh.
have experienced that several times, especially
Uh,
in the beginning. And then
mhm.
even in the middle. And even in the middle.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely. And just knowing what this means and knowing and being able to identify that I'm stuck. Like I feel you'll feel like you can't move or you don't know which way to go, and you feel not mobile. You're not mobile. Like you're not doing anything. You're not going left. You're not going right. You don't want to go forward and just do anything. You actually feel one of these ways.
It's like you're stuck in a time loop and you can't move. I know that I've experienced that stuck feeling before. The inability to move. It's like my brain would not turn on for some reason. It just got stagnant fast. And I was trying to get myself and shovel out of this rut. And I was not moving. My business was not moving. There was no progress being made. And I questioned, should I continue? Is this something that I should continue? Is this something I should do? And then I remembered everything that I've been working with and coaching and teaching everybody else. And I had to implore, I had to put those techniques back to me. I had to become my client again. And I had to remember certain things, but sometimes you get stuck just because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's a lot happening,
Yes, definitely. But I'm glad you said what you said. Like, you said that you had to you almost questioned yourself, or you did question yourself. Right. And that is for entrepreneurs to know that that's normal. That on the journey, you may question, whether you're supposed to move forward, whether you're supposed to continue. Was I supposed to do this?
Right.
So I just hope that entrepreneurs know, especially new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, that those questions on the journey are normal.
They're very normal. And these are the things that we always have to just kind of make sure that we see and we go through. But we wanted to define it so that you know what it is. You know what that felt like. Because as you get stuck on this journey, you have to unstick yourself. And it's going to happen. So becoming stuck, there's actually a term for that in the entrepreneur world, and that is analysis paralysis. Because a lot of times we get stuck because we're terrified. Yeah. We are terrified of making the wrong decision. That is really gonna, it really just we're terrified of making the wrong decision, that we put off making any decisions. It's like, should I go left? Should I go right? Should I go up? Should I go down? Oh my God, your mind begins to go. It's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh, wait a minute. Let me think about this a little bit more. Let me think about this a little bit less. How are these things working out? So much. And it's called analysis paralysis. And that literally is because you are so scared that you're going to move in the wrong way. You're going to make the wrong decision. Your business is going to fail. It sticks you for a minute. It really just kind of jolts your brain into a way where you don't move. Yeah. And then you begin to multitask. And then you begin to sit down and watch TV. And then you begin to do everything else because you don't want to make a decision. You don't want to move. So that stuck is like, oh my God. And it's called analysis paralysis, is because you're over analyzing everything about your business, about this journey, what that looks like. And it's insane. And you become paralyzed, you become paralyzed. So I couldn't even tell you, but yeah, it's totally crazy. Totally crazy. Yeah. So these are some of the things that you want to think about, because you can literally overanalyze yourself into paralysis.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship is about doing.
Right.
And so we're going to move on, because each section we want to be able to have a little dialogue and talk about and really start to begin to give you some practical things. So,
I'm going to make sure that everybody can see the screen also.
Are we still having technical difficulties?
Yeah, with the
So what are they saying is the problem?
Not able to see all the words.
Not able
There's
to
something
see.
blocking it. There's some squares blocking it.
There's some squares blocking the words.
Yeah. Okay, you just moved one.
Did I just move one?
Yep, and just leave that one there. And then there's another one at the bottom in the middle.
Another one at the bottom in the middle. I don't see
Yeah.
anything on my screen.
Wow. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we'll try our best.
Yeah. And just,
Hopefully,
yeah.
did it move out of the way?
It's just one little one in the that's blocking some of the wording. But as you move on, hopefully everyone should be able to follow along still.
Okay. So
Because if you can't see it, you probably won't be able to move it.
Right. Because I'm not seeing what you're seeing, but
Yeah.
You know what? We'll make the best of it.
Yeah.
And again, take lots of notes. Unfortunately, we cannot get over technical difficulties in the middle of a live session.
Yes.
Sometimes these things happen. And guess what? These things are also going to happen in your business. You're going to have difficulties. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have those crossroads, and you cannot let it stop you and say, oh my God, how am I going to move forward? What am I going to do? The show kind of just still has to go on. And even though it may not be in a straight line, we'll go up, down, and around. So we're at a great crossroad with technology today. It's Wednesday. So I say thank you for Wednesdays. And we will just move right along through the presentation. And I do apologize. What we'll do going forward is we'll make sure we read each slide in case you are taking notes so that you know what each slide says. So we're going into the 12 ways you keep your business from moving forward and how to overcome them. Ooh,
this is
number one. Dun, 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 dun. Lacking in momentum.
Ooh, yes. I think that is so crucial on the journey. Momentum. You need momentum. And so when you go into momentum, these are just some things that what momentum is and what it does. Momentum creates movement. Momentum helps you to move. If you have no momentum, it's going to be hard to move. It is the moving force behind what you do and accomplish. So in order for you to accomplish a lot of things, or in order for you to move towards your goals, towards the ideas you have, it takes momentum. You have to have a force behind you that will help you to move. Right. It helps with progression. And most of all, it keeps you moving. You want to keep moving on the journey. You don't want to get stuck, but you want to keep moving. You want to progress on this journey, and momentum will help that.
And that's so key, because when you think momentum, you think movement, you think motion, you look at the root of the word and you begin to break it down. And the second line is the moving force behind what you do and accomplish. The moving force. Momentum is a force. It's an energy. And it's an energy that you have to have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be a big energy, because sometimes your momentum will be insurmountable. It will be big. You are ready. Yes. It is there. You are you feel that energy ready to move you forward. And then sometimes it's going to be very small. And even when it's small, the momentum is one step in front of the other.
Yes. Yes.
Keep moving. When I first started out on the journey years ago, I always say I started in 2012, but I actually started maybe in 2008, maybe 2007 is really when I got the bug. I was ready. I was tired of my job. I knew I was going to do it. I had a lot of skills and a lot of experience, and I was just trying to figure out a way to package it. I was doing multi-level marketing. I was doing research. I lived in the business library, and I just couldn't get it together. And I felt like my momentum was starting to leave me. And then I realized that, I needed to create a better plan. So my momentum was to organize myself and to make a better plan. And that took time. It took time because I had a job. I had 2 teenagers and a newborn. I had a husband and my mom, just a lot of things happening in my life at that time. My dad was still alive then. And I felt like because there were so many things happening, I was losing momentum. But because I still had this force, I kept moving. It was just very slow paced movement. And I realized that momentum is not always big. It is not always fast, but it is movement nonetheless. And I kept it step after step after step. I kept moving. If I only could do a little bit this time and then a lot later, it was fine, but I didn't stop. And I kept that energy to want to accomplish what I knew I was going to eventually accomplish.
Yes. So that's why I say momentum is the force that keeps you moving.
It sure is. It sure is. So next,
what helps create momentum?
We just talked about that.
Yes. And a couple of things that I was thinking about was, goals, because a lot of times we're always into setting long-term goals or these huge goals, challenging goals, things that are, that may take a lot of time. Not that's a bad thing, but it'll take time. And so what I've learned is that small goals and short-term goals,
that's right,
actually help with momentum.
They do.
If you're waiting for the roller coaster to just do all these ups on this journey, you need some little ones, some little, the little one, the little, what is it? The little hoops in between the big drop when you're on a roller coaster. You need those, because even when you're on a roller coaster, those little hoops or those little, whatever they're called, they give you momentum dips to get ready for the big.
That's right. Those dips and wanes. It's like, oh, we made it past that one. Oh, we made it past that one. Oh, we made it past that one. Those are all the little small goals. The short term, we made it past that one loop and that second loop and that third loop. And now we're inching our way up to the top, and we're getting to take that big drop.
Yes.
And it takes a minute to get to the big drop. It takes a minute to get to that big waha. And we definitely can't minimize the success in baby steps.
Yes.
Yeah. We can't.
It's definitely success.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And then even, you have to be able to see some type of fruit, some type of manifestation of what you're doing, because that will create momentum on your journey.
It does.
You're seeing things. Things have to start happening, even if they're little. You have to experience those things so that it can create momentum. So you'll last on the journey and be able to see the big things.
That's right. I like. No, go ahead.
Too many long-term goals or challenging goals can affect your momentum.
Right.
Taking moments to reflect on all accomplishments on the journey, especially how far you have come. Take a moment to celebrate. I used to do that. Like I used to after I hit one goal or one thing anything I was trying to accomplish or do in my business, I had the next thing in mind. It's like I kept going. I had the next thing. It was always the next thing. And I never stopped to celebrate. I never stopped to acknowledge how far I've come.
That's right.
So when you don't do that, that can definitely affect your momentum in the long run.
It does. A mentor that I had from maybe about 15 years ago said, you have to sweat the small stuff.
I like that.
Usually you hear, don't sweat the small stuff. And he said, no, sweat the small stuff, because the small stuff is the ammunition that you need for the big stuff. The small stuff piles on layer after layer after layer and gets you to the big stuff.
Yes.
If you don't take the small steps, if you don't celebrate those small accomplishments and those small goals. If you don't take a moment to say, you know what, it took me a year to make $100, but I made that $100. I didn't give up. And when I made it, that was my first $100. It felt amazing.
Yes.
Why? Because I did not give up. And even though it was trial after trial after trial, crossroad after crossroad after crossroad, I made a choice at every crossroad that I would not allow the obstacle that was in my way or the perceived obstacle that was in my way to slow me down.
Yeah.
I would look at it as a lesson and I would redirect and I would go.
Yeah.
And whenever I would reflect back on how I moved and just the little things that I did to get there to accomplish one goal and then the next goal, and I realized that the small goals are actually the big goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's definitely so true.
Yeah, because those are the things that create the journey.
Yes, I love that. How you just
Those are
said
the
that.
things
Yes.
that create the journey. And you got to have a journey or else
Yeah.
you don't have nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Where you going? You got, I want to go to Africa. Okay. How you getting there? Everybody want to go to Africa. I want to go to, Tanzania. I want to go to, Botswana. I want to go, look, I want to go to Asia. Where you going to Asia? I'm going to Thailand. I'm going here. Okay. I'm going to visit Vietnam. All right. That's your destination. That's where you want to go. How you getting there?
Yeah. That's the question.
What does the journey look like? And I want to be an entrepreneur and start this business. Okay. What does the journey look like? The journey looks like these series of steps that are going to get you to that goal that you ultimately want to accomplish. But there's steps that you have to accomplish first before you can get to that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And so taking the time to look and really see that's key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that's why I suggest that, people keep a visual, entrepreneurs keep a visual, and an ongoing list. Sometimes you have to remind yourself.
That's right.
Or just see what have you done, what you've accomplished on this journey. Just to keep that momentum, because that will make you keep going. That will help you to keep going.
It does. And it's such a great reminder.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder that you are moving.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps to slow your mind down because you realize, like, a lot of times we'll say, oh, I'm not moving fast enough. I don't feel like I've done anything. But then you turn around and it's like, oh, I really have done some stuff. Yeah. I've moved.
Yep.
So no, without a doubt. Ooh, number 2.
Oh, wow. Whew.
Lacking in consistency.
Oh goodness, this is important. I definitely believe that momentum leads to consistency. If you don't have momentum, you're not going to feel like doing some things, or you're not going to be motivated to do things. You're going to find yourself getting bored and doing things that have nothing to do with what you should be doing. And so it's going to keep you from being consistent because you have no momentum. But you have to work on consistency. And what I suggest is having a personal daily routine. You spoke about this previously, Rasheeda, about your business life reflecting your personal life.
Yes, it does.
Do you have a routine in your personal life? Something that you do that just keeps you moving, keeps you the momentum in your life. But what routines do you have in your business as an entrepreneur on this journey that you have in place? That is so important.
Right.
So having a personal daily routine, making sure you have that, creating a business routine. And that, we talked about schedules the other day, one of the sessions, but that's based on your unique schedule.
That's right.
So, but you still can create a routine. You still can have consistency your own way based on your schedule. because some people work full time, some people, have, a lot of things that they're juggling in life, but you still can have consistency.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then what are you doing? So that's basically, what are you doing weekly, daily to progress or hit your goals? So what are you doing this week that will help you hit or progress in your goals, towards your goals? When you do the same thing over and over and over, you're moving towards your goals.
That's right.
Especially if it's the same thing over and over again. Even emails, routine emails. Say you send emails once a month to your clients, thanking them or whatever the case is. You send something to them. It's a routine. It's something that you do monthly.
Absolutely.
That is going to keep you moving. You don't know what doors that will open for your clients. You don't know who they're going to tell about you. You just don't know what that is going to do by being consistent and communicating with your clients that way. Even client check-ins or posting on social media, consistency with that. When you're starting off, you don't have a social media team. So
you are it.
Exactly. You're the social media person. So what are you doing with that? And I tell people, like clients with social media, when they're just starting off and it's just them, you don't have to post every day.
No, you
Find
don't.
what works for you, but just be consistent.
That's it.
Even if it's 3 days a week or 2 days a week, they know that you're posting 2 days a week.
That's it.
Something consistent. So people just want consistency, and I realized that consistency is like planting seeds. I took this from Galatians 6:9 in the Bible. Don't grow weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you do not faint. And I feel like the more you're consistent in anything, it's going to reap something.
Yes, it does.
Even if it's something bad you're being consistent in, it's going to reap something.
It's going to have some benefits, good or bad. So let's be consistent in positive things.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So what are you doing consistently? Because, sometimes we don't feel like it. There's going to be times you don't feel like doing the same thing that you've been doing. But guess what? That day that you were consistent when you didn't feel like it, something amazing happened. All because you remained consistent. Someone was waiting on you because they saw you posting every week certain things or about your business. They were waiting for that post. And when you didn't give that post, they were like, well, what happened? So, just being consistent even when you don't want to, because it'll reap a benefit. And then I come to realize that customers and clients, even your family, if you're doing this in your, in your life, your personal life, like you were talking about, being consistent in your personal life and your business life, your family would like to know what to expect. They don't want to I don't know, they don't know what to expect from you. Your clients want to know that you're going to be open or you're at certain times, or you're going to be available at certain times, and it's not hit or miss. People like to know what to expect. And consistency helps with your clients. It helps with your customers, with your even your family and your personal life. So I always say that consistency actually leads to discipline. You don't have to worry about being disciplined. When you're consistent in things, it becomes a discipline. So you become automatically disciplined by being consistent. And if you're looking to become disciplined in one area, become disciplined in another area. I've learned that when you are consistent, say you're consistent in your routines, what you do in your life. Somehow it creates a discipline where it helps you to be disciplined in another area. It's like it affects other areas of your life when you become disciplined in one area. So if you're looking to become disciplined in your eating, or something like that, hey, be consistent in exercising, and then it'll be easier for you to be consistent in eating right. But yeah, it really transfers over. So being consistent leads to discipline. And if you're looking to be disciplined in one area, you just be disciplined in a certain area, and it'll help, with the other areas of your life or your business.
Right. And I just want to add an anecdote on how the lack of consistency leads you to stagnant movement. So I'm going to share a client story. And my disclaimer, some of these facts What is it that they say? Some of these facts have been changed to protect the
Like on TV
privacy
shows.
of the
Yeah.
person. But I remember years ago, I had a client who was just so enthusiastic about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. She had deliverables every week that she needed to produce. We set a very clear and concise schedule. I helped her with her framework. I helped her build out her processes. And we had to develop each process before we could move to the next. And each week she would come back and go, oh, so something happened and I couldn't do what I needed to do. And she was consistent at being inconsistent. That was her consistency. So she let everything else distract her, even though she had a very clear cut and concise schedule. She let, and the key thing is we only allotted 1 hour within this window that she had to focus. And she couldn't focus and be consistent for that 1 hour. And her business did not move at all. And by the end of our sessions, I told her, you're not going to be successful for what it is that you're trying to do because you're too inconsistent. You don't touch it enough. You don't give it enough time. All we had for you was 1 hour, 3 times a week. And you couldn't stick to 1 hour, 3 times a week. You couldn't develop a routine within your routine, even though we created varying schedules that worked. And she had a problem with that consistency, and it stomped her from her forward movement, and she became stuck. And it took her 2 years, and she actually came back to me, and then she was ready. She had to learn how to be consistent in her personal life.
But like you said, she was consistent. She was
consistent at being inconsistent. Yeah, she was consistently inconsistent. So she had to learn how to be consistently consistent. So, you know, think about how consistency manifests in your life, in your day-to-day, the things that you're doing. And think about, like, what do you need to strengthen, and start writing those things down. Because I will say it time in and time out. How you function on a day-to-day is how you're going to function in your business. So if you can't be consistent with your regular chores and your regular duties in your life, getting up, getting your children ready, going to work, you're at work and maybe, you know, somebody's always saying, you know, you're not doing it the same way every day or something like that, and you're always getting rid of it. Guess what? That's a reflection of something that you have to strengthen within you. And it also shows your lack of consistency. And your lack of ability to be able to form those habits and to create that discipline in yourself to move. So you always want to look at both sides and how it stagnates you. But consistency is definitely one of those things that if you don't have, it will get you stuck.
And that goes into kind of what you were saying. You were just saying it, What happens when you're not consistent?
There you go. All of these things. It takes you longer. You know, when Theresa put together this slide, I was just like, yes, 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 because it speaks to all of that. It speaks to all of that.
Definitely. Your customers won't trust you.
No.
Clients won't trust you. You lose momentum since you're seeing less results.
Right.
You know, we got to see things happening, and you don't see anything happening because you're not consistent. So you're going to lose motivation. You're going to lose momentum. And then, like you said, it'll take longer to reach your goals. Yes. I love that example you gave, that story. That's a perfect story.
I always say slow and steady wins the race. You come out the gate, you want to move really fast, but you have to set yourself up for that. And you set yourself up by being extremely consistent with the things that you have to be consistent with.
These are just some sayings that I saw that I was just like, wow, this is so good. Like, the secret to your success is found in your daily routine. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit.
That's right.
Love it.
I love it. Look, speaks for itself. It's a habit. Momentum leads to consistency. Consistency is creating a habit. It's creating a discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, so these are the key things that you have to, you have to really think about on your journey. How consistent am I? What habits do I need to cultivate? What does that look like for me? What is my routine? How am I manifesting myself through my day? How do I need to change my schedule so that I can give 30 minutes to an hour, either each day or 3 days a week, so that I can begin to see that movement?
Yeah.
Focused, consistent time moves mountains. When I first started this journey, I couldn't do it the way that I'm doing it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have the time, but I knew I wanted to do it. And so I would say to my children and my husband at the time, hey, I got 1 hour. And I had one of those little egg timers, you turn. I got 1 hour. Do not bother me until this thing goes off. And I would sit and they would not bother me. I trained myself and I trained them. And I only did it 3 days a week. But I got so much accomplished in that hour because I was focused. And because I developed the habit of being consistent, but there were days where I didn't want to do nothing. But I was like, nope, because this is the only time that I have. So let me just get it done. And it's only 1 hour out of my 24-hour day. And I'm just going to add this here too, as a tidbit. There are 24 hours in a day. Let's just say that we are actually normal people and we actually get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
The recommended daily dose. Woo! 24 minus 8 is what? That still leaves us, 16 hours in the day that are not sleeping. 16 hours each day. You go to work, you got to travel. Let's just say that's 10 hours of travel and work. 6 hours left to your day. Are you really spending 6 hours with your spouse? Are you really spending 6 hours with your children? Because depending on the age of your children or what you got going on, guess what? They don't want to be bothered with you anyway. They're going to play with their toys, or they're talking with their friends, or they're doing something else. Your husband may be like, babe, I'm going to chill. I just need to sit down, get a drink, or, I just want to watch some sports. So out of that 6 hours, let's just say there are 4 hours of actual family time, whether you're taking care of somebody or doing, there's still 2 hours, and that's daily. We're not even asking you to give up those 2 hours. 1 hour, 3 days a week out of a 24-hour day. Think about it from that perspective. If you really want to do the things that you say, if you really want to accomplish the things that you say, then you should be able to carve out 3 hours in a whole week, considering that I just broke down a whole day. And that, yes, it's standard. And yes, that day may vary depending on the shaping factors of your life. But if you can still carve out 3 hours within a week, that is phenomenal. Think about it. Phenomenal. Look, I'm pulling up my calculator. That's 24 hours a day times 7 days is 168 hours. So I'm asking you to take 3 hours out of 168 hours. That still leaves you 165 hours to do everything else that you need to do while only giving 3 hours of consistent time to your business. But it's consistent focus time, and the things that you can accomplish in that is insurmountable if you take the time. And then you will be able to see where you can create more time. because the momentum drives by just those little steps to really be able to push you forward and open you up. Not to mention, even when you're not in that 1 hour, your mind is always thinking about what you're going to do within that hour.
Mm-hmm.
So even when it's not the actual physicality of you sitting down and being focused, you're still focused on it. So technically, you're always on and you're always working because you're manifesting those thoughts.
Yes.
Oh,
I love that.
number 3. Dun, 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 dun.
Lack of flexibility and adaptability.
Yes. And we're not talking about yoga, y'all.
No. This is so key because the journey of entrepreneurship is going to be a lot of surprises or just a lot of things that happen. Even,
Right.
my main example lately has been COVID. People, entrepreneurs being able to maintain and sustain, through COVID and being able to adapt.
Right.
A lot of businesses had to adapt to the whole virtual thing. Virtual events, no more in-person events.
That's
during
right.
that time, the last 2 years.
Virtual meetings.
Yes, virtual
everything.
meetings. Everyone had to learn technology. It was
That's right.
it was definitely a learning curve for a lot of businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs. And it just made me think of your business will evolve when you adapt, when
That's
you're
right.
flexible, when you're able to keep up with the times, keep up with the things that are going on around you. And it just reminded me of Toys R Us. And I know that I know everybody remember Toys R Us, but Toys R Us was the store to go to, like
The
when you were
store.
younger.
The
Yes,
go-to.
yes.
Every city, every state across the whole nation.
Oh,
Toys R Us was it.
yes. No matter how expensive they were, they still was the store.
They were the
But
store.
it was crazy because I realized, and I'm sure there's other factors, but if you compare Toys R Us to like Walmart and Amazon, Toys R Us wasn't keeping up with the times.
No, they weren't.
They weren't changing, adapting, and being flexible with where we were headed.
That's right.
And so you have big people like Walmart who is on it, Amazon is on it, like they a step ahead, to make sure that they're able to adapt and be flexible and learn what they need to learn to be able to have longevity in their business, to be
That's
able to
right.
continue. So I just had that example, like, just with Toys R Us. And then, being able to be flexible and the ability to adapt, your chances of business longevity will increase
Yes, it
because you're
will.
able to get through all the hurdles. You're able to get through all these things, because your business will evolve. You're going to have seasons where you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to adapt. And what it reminds me of too, strategies.
It does.
Because how we pick strategies to, when we're trying to reach certain things or do certain things in our businesses, well, we implement certain strategies, but those strategies going to change, and those strategies may not work anymore next year. The same strategies you put in place right now may not work no more next year.
That's right.
You may have certain strategies that are good strategies. They may last for 4 years or something like that in your business, and your business is growing and moving, but then it's not working anymore. So you have to know when to change strategies.
Right.
And it doesn't mean your goals or your vision changes. It just means the strategies to get there have to change.
The journey takes a different turn.
Yes.
That's what it is. The journey takes a different turn.
Yes.
You have to be flexible enough. I call it business gymnastics or entrepreneurial gymnastics. You have to be flexible enough that if you need to pivot. You need to pivot and go left, and you need to pivot and go right, and you may need to pivot and go backwards just so you can propel yourself, forward in a manner that you didn't think would happen, because it's like, oh, I had to step back. Think about the game of chess. It's a game of strategy, but you have to be flexible and you have to adapt. You have to be able to see different ways of moving to be able to get to that checkmate.
Yes.
It's not a straight line. And while the game of chess is it seems to be a very rigid application, it is actually a game of probability. Because if I go this way, this could happen. Or there may be 2 or 3 or 4 other moves. And I have to be able to strategize so that if somebody puts their pawn here and I have to move my pawn or my rook here, it's like, that's adaptability, that's flexibility. Yeah. And so if you're tense, if you're, you're not taking the time, like Theresa said, to see what's happening in your business and in your field and what's happening with the economy and what's happening just in the market on a whole, paying attention to things that you have to pay attention to, you'll get stuck.
Yeah.
And your business will fail.
Yes. Even changing your services sometimes, like for a season. I know we brought in new services during COVID.
Same here. And bringing in those new services actually allowed us to grow and flourish.
Yes.
It was amazing. But if I wasn't adaptable and if I didn't pay attention to the climate and what was happening around me, then what would have happened? What would have happened to you, Theresa? What would have happened? We would have not been able to sustain. But we were able to sustain, and quite well, during the pandemic because we were flexible and we had the ability to adapt.
Yes.
And we actually, both of us, have helped a lot of businesses do that because they couldn't see how. Yeah. So we were also able to help others who, if they didn't have a Theresa, Satchell, or Rasheeda Frazier, would not have been able to move forward the way they did. Because sometimes you just need love. You get stuck.
Yeah, you do. And you just maybe need sometimes you may need someone to come in, a strategic planner, or, that's what we were providing. We started doing more strategic planning because it was a pivotal moment for a lot of businesses.
A lot of businesses, and they had to think and adapt and change quickly. And it was like, okay, how are you going to do this? What is happening? Now, to be flexible and adaptable, you also have to make sure you're paying attention to what is happening in the world. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. The environment around you is going to predict how you move. It's not going to, Theresa said it, it's not going to change your goals. Your vision is not going to change. Just the way in which you have to get there based off of what is happening at right now is going to affect how you have to move along the journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Waiting on perfection. Number 4.
This was my main issue.
You said that's her main issue.
That was my main issue for a long time. I will tell you, because I just want everything to flow right, to be in order, because I'm really, that's my area of, order and organization and things in place. So when things not in place and when things are not in order or is not perfect the way I planned it, that was a problem before. And I had to learn that will stop you from moving.
It will.
You won't make a decision.
Hard.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It will stick you very hard. I mean, look at what happened today. We had technical difficulties with the video. I still don't know if it's running right, but we're still going to go through with it.
Yes.
If I waited for things to be perfect, I would have stopped, started. After the first stop and pause, it's like, let's just go with it.
Yep.
And whatever happens, happens, because if you wait for perfection, you'll never get anywhere.
You won't anywhere at all. There are many times I had that, it didn't go perfectly. And honestly, I feel like it actually doesn't go perfect more than it does go perfect.
It doesn't. But the imperfections are by design, I think, because you learn a lot.
You do.
You learn a lot when things aren't perfect.
Yes.
If you wait for all the conditions to be right before you move, you'll never move because the conditions are never going to be right.
Nope.
You need adversity to help strengthen you and to grow you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about being perfect. It's just about starting. And you get there along the way.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And that's why I basically say excellence, not perfection.
Right.
If you can still do things in excellence, like you gave the example of us continuing on, we're giving great information. We are providing some awesome, tips and tidbits and everything like that.
Right.
And people are learning. So
look,
we're
and they're
still doing
learning in live prime time.
Yes, yes. And if we couldn't look at, PowerPoint or something, we still would be given information, but in a different way. And so as long as you're able to do it in excellence and it's not going to, bring down the quality of what you're doing.
Exactly.
You got to move forward. You have to move forward because you won't move forward. You won't go anywhere.
Yeah. You will stay stuck.
Yes. You will stay stuck and miss opportunities.
A lot of
You'll
missed
miss some opportunities.
What did we say? Analysis paralysis, because it's not perfect. So you're over analyzing everything.
Yes.
And you won't make a decision because it's like, well, it's not right. And it's missing this. And I can't put that forward.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Put it forward, and whatever you messed up with this time, then look at it, learn from it, and do better the next time. And the next time. And the next time. And the next time. Until that excellence comes. And then once it's excellence, that is your perfection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you don't strive for perfection. You strive, like you said, for excellence.
Yes. I love that. And I think it's so important. I do think you definitely want to use wisdom still, because there's some things that you may not want to move forward on if you don't have certain things. But
absolutely,
for the most part, if you can do it in excellence, you have an event and you only have 3 people signed up, but you're going to have an awesome event where, this may be the beginning of that event.
That's it.
And then next year, more people will come.
That's right.
Don't not have it because of the 3. I mean, unless you're, renting out a whole, place, and that wisdom will tell you that we don't have the money to get this hotel for this event because there's only 3 people. But for the most part, if you're able to do it in excellence, using wisdom, have that event.
And not only that, even if you can't afford the location or if it's online and, sorry, and here I am again, excuse us while we deal with these technical difficulties because we're just having a day-to-day, and we're gonna be adaptable, and we're gonna be flexible, and we're gonna flow with everyone that hits us today. Forward. We are not about to let it take us back. But one of the things I wanted to say is that even if, like, we're putting on this presentation today, all you lovely people signed up for it, and we appreciate you for that. But say there was nobody who signed up. Mm-hmm. Theresa and I were still prepared to get on every week for 6 weeks and talk to each other as if we were talking to somebody, because we still knew the value and what it is that we were doing. And we're still going to have this and post it for people to see, and we're still going to do it again. Yes. So if nobody was here,
awesome,
we still would have moved in excellence and still have executed.
Yes.
We wouldn't wait for it to be perfect for us to have 50 to 100 people to 1,000 people. No, we're still going to do what we need to do, because at the end of the day, that's good practice for us. Mm-hmm. It's excellent practice for us.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. This is important, because what I've learned on a journey is that if one thing gets you stuck, you're bound to get stuck because of something else. It's like a domino effect. So, for example, if you're lacking momentum, it'll lead to no motivation. It'll lead to you easily being distracted. It'll lead to you having lack of faith because you ain't saying anything. It'll lead to you're not doing anything. You're not being consistent. Oh, goodness. It'll definitely, like we talked about. So being careful of the domino effect, knowing that when you see yourself in, in one of these areas that we're talking about today, like Rasheeda said, it's not the complete catalog of what can prevent you from moving forward, but it's the main things that we've seen on this journey. And so when you see yourself in one area, be careful, because it'll impact another area.
It will impact a whole nother area.
So it's like a
and
domino.
I like how you said lack of faith, because you begin to question. If one thing after the next, you begin to sit and you begin to question, why did I start this in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you a funny thing about when you start to question yourself. I used to question, why am I doing this? Am I really creating value? Am I really having an impact? Am I really helping people? I don't think I'm going to continue this. I went through that heavy many years ago, and both my businesses, it was just like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're supposed to be doing what you're doing, no matter how many times it may change down the road, you'll know that you're on the right path along the journey when you have those moments.
Yeah.
And you get a wake-up call. Somebody will call you and say, hey, I need this from you. Or someone will call you and say, hey, I remembered that you did so-and-so, and I want to buy some of your product.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, girl, I know it's been a minute, or, but I think I know someone who you could talk to. Or, I was looking at this thing and it reminded me of you. And don't you do something like this?
Mm-hmm.
Here, some information for you. And you start to get these, God starts to give you answers. I don't care if you're religious or you're not religious, if you want to say the universe or, God or, spirit, I don't care what you want to call it, but you start to get these mysterious things that come your way to kind of give you confirmation that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Do not fret. Do not doubt the road in the journey. Nobody told you it was going to be easy, but it's where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Also, pay attention to those cues when you get into those moments of doubt and the motivation is low and the distractions are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times something will slide in, and it's that small little whisper of, hey, I got this for you. And it's going to be exactly what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And or what you need to remind you that you got this.
Yes.
You got this.
Yes.
Ooh. What we got here? Number 5. Mindset. Negative habitual responses to adversity. Negative thoughts undermine forward motion and the progress of the company, of the business, of whatever. By cultivating a positive attitude, it's not about sticking in your head in the sand and ignoring things that could go wrong. Remember, we talked about things are going to go wrong. Yeah. But it's about learning how to mentally reframe your response. There is no point in wallowing in mistakes. And part of relinquishing negativity is realizing that your own negative thoughts, as a leader, as whatever, they waste energy, time, and money. Let me backtrack. Negative thoughts undermine forward motion and progress of the company. You're starting your business, you're starting your company. Usually you're enthusiastic. You're like, hey, I got this thing. I'm really excited about it. But if you're a negative Nancy, you just stopped yourself in its tracks. oh, I know I got this good thing, but I don't know because they over here looking real funny. I'm never going to get funding. Who's going to fund this? I got to get this funding. You start talking. I don't know if you remember the very first session. We talked about mindset. We talked about the words that we use. We talked about all of those things that really come into fruition, into play, that will block us. We do this to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
How we think about the world. If you know that you've got something that is marketable, product or service, and you want to build this company and you want to take it to heights untold, then it don't matter what is happening. Life is going to happen, but you still got to stay positive, because the minute you start throwing all that negative stuff, those are really big boulders and roadblocks. You have to maintain a positive attitude. That's not to say, when I say sticking your head in the sand and ignoring things, oh, things are going to go wrong on the journey. That roller coaster is going to hit some bumps. You're going to be in that car speeding down the road and you're going to hit that speed bump and it's going to flip over. You're going to be like, oh, what happened? Wait a minute. Those are lessons. Okay, I made a mistake. You ever think about the fact that the reason why you get veered off course is because you were going in the wrong direction? So why would you think negatively about that? How many times in your life have you been trying to go one way and you got totally sidetracked and you moved in a whole nother direction and you bitched and moaned and wallowed and it was like, oh my God, why couldn't I have stayed the course? And it took you so long to realize, because you were so negative, that you actually weren't going in the wrong direction in the first place and you got redirected. But if you stay positive about the fact that, okay, so I veered off course a little bit, let me see why. Let me see, why am I moving in this direction now as opposed to this one? Let me take a step back and reevaluate. What went wrong? You don't ignore what went wrong. You embrace that. You embrace the wrong. You embrace the mistakes. You embrace the redirection. But that's our mindset piece. Because if you're stuck in being negative, you're not going to be able to see it. Clouds your ability to see, clouds your vision. You know, relinquishing negativity is realizing that your own negative thoughts as a leader waste time, energy, and money. And the reason why I said as a leader is because the biggest negative thought that we have is, I don't know if I can do this. Who told me that I could do this? Oh, this is a lot of work. Am I sure that I can do this? So we start looking at us. We start saying, because we're the common denominator in our entrepreneurship journey. And we start to say, holy crap. And a lot of the negative thoughts are actually reflections of what we see in ourselves. So if you're thinking negatively about yourself, how are you going to be positive about what you're producing? So all of these things tie in.
I like how you said that too, because if you think negatively about what you're producing, people can tell when you're not confident in your own business.
They can tell. They're going to be like, she ain't too sure about what she's doing. He doesn't sound too confident.
So why should I be confident?
So why should I be confident? Right. So it's always, you got to watch what you're thinking, watch your mindset, watch what you're saying to yourself, watch how you're thinking about your circumstances and your situation. Because that is, like I said, it will undermine you and it will keep you stuck. It will keep you stuck. Fear of failure.
Oh, gosh.
Taking risk. Ooh-wee.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Fail fast, fail often, fail forward. Fail often, fail fast, fail forward. How many times have we, failure is bad? We were taught that. Don't fail, you have to win, you have to be a winner. But without failure, few entrepreneurs would know the way to success. Entrepreneurs seldom get it right the first time. Because I know I didn't. I tried and tried. I didn't either. And I revamped and I did some stuff that was like, whoo, child, okay, we clearly not doing that because that does not work. But having the ability to keep moving by making adjustments improves the odds of success. Let me explain to you. Fear of failure. People, this is what really sticks you. I mean, it all does. And it all is a culmination of things. And they all feed into everything that we said feeds into the next. But I'm going to tell you, fear of failure goes right with mindset. And a lot of times we weren't never taught to fail. We were only taught to succeed. My dad used to always say, the biggest and best success that you'll have is when you fall and you get back up.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I fell a lot in a lot of different areas of my life along my journey. And every time I fell, he was always there to remind me to get back up. His life was a series of failures, and he always got back up and tried harder and tried harder. And that was the best lesson that I could have ever got. No matter how hard you fall, how often, get up. Learn from why you fell. Figure out what you need to change so that you can move forward. But don't fear that, because the best lessons that you can get, not only in life, but on the entrepreneurship journey, is when you fail.
Yes.
And sometimes failing hard and failing like, oh my God, is the best thing that could happen to you, especially if you take the time to make those adjustments, to improve, to look, you know, to just take that step and go, let me take a minute here and really look at what is going on. You cannot fear failure. You can't.
Wow. It reminded me of what you said earlier about paralysis. You know, fear will paralyze you.
It will paralyze you. It will have you thinking. That's why I said, you know, it stuck and analysis paralysis go together, because it really does. You will paralyze yourself by over analyzing everything. Fear will paralyze you. You're analyzing, what would I do if I fail? And then I failed. And it's like, oh my God. Because guess what? That is a negative response to adversity.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And if you look up other businesses, you know, just taking the time to look into other businesses, big businesses, how they started,
and they all failed.
And all of them, yes, like
they all failed.
They didn't get it right the first time, or it wasn't a straight line, like you said. You know, so looking into other businesses and seeing like, wow, this is normal. Like failure is part of the journey.
It's part of the journey. And actually, it's an important part of the journey, because that's where you learn. And you have to learn. I fail all the time. It's been 10 years.
Yes.
And I'm still failing at certain things, but I love it, because it's like, oh, wait. And then I take a step back and I look, and then I find a better way to do it.
Yes.
That's been my whole journey. And I love it. Every step of it. Every step of the way. And the failures have become less because I'm learning as I go. So I'm not repeating the same mistakes. So with each impasse, it's less and less and less.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you will never make a mistake. You will never fail again, just because you're walking in excellence. Shaping factors change as times change.
Yes.
And that's okay. But you can't fear it, because if you fear it, that is like automatic stagnation. Because fear will cripple you. You have to take risk. Oh, remember we said.
So we have something before you move on to that. In the chat. You want to read it?
Oh, no, you go ahead and read it.
Okay. Okay, so I think part of fear of failure comes from not knowing. We need to always seek knowledge. Seeking knowledge helps to lessen. the fear.
Yes, it does. Go ahead. Woo, yes. I'm sorry, I had to get that out.
Yeah, no.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
That is so excellent and it is so true. Look, whoever said that in the chat, you go, girl or guy. Look, you go, girl or guy, because that's spot on and it adds to exactly what we're talking about. Read that again. Just read it again.
I think part of fear of failure comes from not knowing. We need to always seek knowledge. Seeking knowledge helps to lessen the fear. Right. And I think even when I was just saying, like, look into all the other businesses and look at how they started their journey, that's seeking knowledge. That's seeking, you're researching, you're doing your homework, and
you're learning
that's
to
help you lessen your fear. Because, everybody didn't have this. Everybody didn't went through this.
This is normal. Okay. How did they come out of this? Yes. What did they do?
Right. Oh, I'm not the first nor the last.
That's right. Entrepreneurship is not about I created something that nobody else has created. So part of it is, but a lot of it is looking at what others have done, taking their best practices and adding them to yours and moving along on your journey.
Yep.
And you can't be fearful of not knowing. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know if, you're going to lose your job tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to break your foot next week. You don't know. So you're going to walk around in a bubble and be like, oh my God, I could break my foot, but I don't know. You're fearful. You got to learn how to live in the present. When you fear things, you're either living in the past of what already happened, or you're living in the future because you don't understand what's to come. Live in the present and live in the now. Look at what's happening now. Focus on that. I'm not saying you don't think about the future because you have goals. There are places you want to go. There are things you want to do, but focus on the now and focus on gaining the knowledge, like the participant said, so that it lessens the fear. So you can kind of be prepared along your journey. You're not going to know everything, but that preparation is key. Knowledge is key to preparation.
Yes.
So taking risk is the other half of the failure. Accept that there is a chance that you will fail. To make a leap across a chasm or a rock you are about to step on and make crumble, but understand that the rewards outweigh the risk.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not going to step on that rock. I could totally fall. Okay, but what if you don't? And if you do fall, just get back up.
Right.
I'm going to leap across the chasm. You know what a chasm is? That's one of those really big, like, okay, you remember the Wile E. Coyote? And it was like you jumping across the canyon to get to the other side. And, he's running from the rooster. What if you stop? Granted, it's a cartoon, so in real life, if you fall down in the chasm, you would die. But think about it from a cartoon perspective.
Yeah.
In terms of taking risks. Now, I will say, like I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. What do they say? You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to bulk up. What do they say? No pain, no gain. If you do not take a risk and just try something, you'll never know if it will work. If you stay so stuck and tied into, I'm going to fail, you'll never take a risk.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
If you say, oh, I don't know about this entrepreneurship thing. Now, granted, it is not for everyone, but it could very well be for you.
Yeah.
But you won't know until you give it a try.
Exactly.
And if you find out that it's not for you, that's okay. But you might have also found out along that journey of figuring out that it's not for you, that you've developed something else, or you figured out something else that is for you.
Yes.
But you wouldn't know that because you didn't take a risk. You didn't take a risk to succeed or fail, which means that you stayed stuck trying to figure out, what should I do? What should I do? You were over analyzing and you became paralyzed with the ability to be able to say, I'm going to do this or I'm not.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying make a silly or uncalculated risk. I'm not saying do your research and just gung-ho it and be like, I'm just going to do it. You still want to research. You still want to prepare. You still want to do certain things. And risk comes in levels. Small risk, big risk.
Yes.
So if you know that you've only got $5,000 to invest in your business, you're not going to take a risk that's going to cost $20,000. But you can take that risk as a smaller risk with that $5,000 because you know this is what I have and I'm willing to give it all with what I have. So sometimes risks are even strategic. It's parameter based. You have to look at shaping factors on how you're going to move, but move. Take it.
Move.
You never know. I want to invest. I've got $5,000 of money that I could do with or do without. Okay, so invest it. And if you make money, great. And if you don't, great. Why? Because it was disposable. And you knew taking that risk going in, you could either succeed and or fail.
Yep.
But you took it and you made sure that the risk wasn't going to harm anything else that you had going on. It wasn't going to move or have an adverse effect. So you can take calculated risk based off of something that you have that you're able to take a risk on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just all gung-ho and all in, but take the risk. Even if it's just a small one, because you never know where that one step could take you.
Yep.
Again, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I say, as long as it's not detrimental to your health or someone else's livelihood, calculate it and take a risk. Or else you could very well have stagnated your whole forward movement.
Yeah.
Not setting attainable goals. What does that mean? We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. So some of these overlap, but rightfully so. Entrepreneurs who know what they want and have a set course are more likely to accomplish their goals. Goals act as the homing device for an entrepreneur's actions. At times, they may need to take a step back or sideways to continue to move forward. Like the North Star guiding navigators, goals help entrepreneurs create a new course after making adjustments. We're going to pause for a second. What does this sound like? Because we talked about this, I believe, in session 3. This is your blueprint.
Yes.
Those who fail to create a blueprint, who fail to write things down, who fail to set goals, who fail to really strategize on what it is that they're doing, usually don't get very far. But when you take the time and you build out your blueprint and you take the time to say, these are the things that I clearly want to do, and these are the time frames. All of this is in your blueprint. Your blueprint is nothing but a goal-setting strategy that allows you to move. When we did that session, I told you that blueprint is not stagnant. It moves with you. So if you need to make changes, if you need to adapt and be flexible, I'm always going to bring it back to the things that we spoke about, because you need to see how all of this interconnects. That will stump you. You will get stuck.
Oh my goodness.
Because you're not going to remember. How many times you have something in your head and it sounds good when you said it, but because you didn't write it down or you didn't put it somewhere tangible, and you're like, now what did I say? Because I know it sounded good when I said it.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, oh my goodness. And you can't remember if you said you were going to go left or right. And it's not as
Wow.
simple as driving and you have on GPS so you can just, it'll redirect you. No, you have to setting goals is intentional. And when you sit down and the process of typing in or writing, you're burning that into your spirit to be able to remember. And then you're going back to it and you're reading it over and you're reminding yourself.
It becomes your compass.
It becomes your compass. And what does that do? It helps with your consistency. It helps with your discipline. It allows you to do the things that you need to do. It actually helps with your momentum. Because you're seeing it, you're reading it, you're like, oh, that's right. I said I wanted to do this. You start looking at calendars. You start seeing, okay, where am I in my process? It keeps you energized. But if you don't sit down and take the time to actually set a goal, it does not matter if it changes. Set it. And then start moving toward it. Start the journey toward the goal that you have set. And then allow it to guide you. Allow it to move you backwards and sideways and forward. Go around in a circle and do a loop-de-loop and then come back. And whatever direction you're in, it's like, oh, wait, how did I get here? But you're still going to see that North Star is going to guide you. Why? Because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in terms of having it written down, having it in a place where you can go back and see, moving it in a way where it's going to strategize you and strengthen your ability to say, I can see that this course is not the course I need to take in order to accomplish this goal. So I have to move.
Yes.
So your compass gauge begins to change because you're now having insight into more things that are pushing you now in the right direction.
Right.
Remember, we talked about being flexible and adaptable enough to veer off course and to move and to strategize the game of chess, seeing the myriad of moves that you can make and figuring out which one is the best course of action. You won't be able to do that if you don't set a goal. And you will be stuck.
Yes.
And it will stagnate your forward movement all the way. Comfortable with mediocre. Oh, child. What the heck is that? What's she talking about? Comfortable with mediocre. Don't settle for getting comfortable. Some entrepreneurs may strike gold the first time out. Others require more time, energy, or perhaps the alignment of some planets. Because it's like, listen, everybody's journey is different.
Yes.
But don't become discouraged. Keep moving. Evaluate your business plan, setting goals, consistency, discipline. Make necessary adjustments, flexibility and adaptability based on feedback and results. Sometimes moving past a large obstacle means going over it and not necessarily going around it and not necessarily over it. And the reason why I put this in terms of don't settle for getting comfortable is because sometimes what will happen is this: we've made it. Oh my God, that was perfect. I made 50,000 in sales, or hell, I made 10,000 in sales. And for some people, 10,000 in sales is like, their goals are smaller. Some people, 50,000 is like, yes. But then they get comfortable with that. And guess what? They don't put any effort into trying to do it again and again and again.
Yes.
They just think, I did it, so it's just going to sustain and continue. And they just get comfortable with coasting, with being mediocre, with not doing anything to keep the energy going, to continue to move forward, to continue to grow and expand, to evolve. Not understanding that your product and or service that hit goal that first time out the box, that may be it.
Yeah.
You got comfortable with that win, that you felt like you didn't have to do anything else. That's settling. That's being comfortable with mediocre.
Yes.
And that, believe it or not, is something that stagnates a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They get comfortable with what they have. Oh, well, I did this already, so I don't need to do anything else. This is just going to continue if I just keep doing the same thing. But as we know, the journey takes turns. It takes dips and waves. It hits dead ends, and you have to be redirected and turned around. So while that goal the first time out may be an amazing thing, guess what? A year or two down the road, that gold has run out.
Yes.
There's no more gold at the end of the rainbow.
And
you got to go find you a whole nother Lucky Charm and figure out how to get to the other side of the rainbow to get the other pot of gold. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're comfortable just being mediocre, because eventually you'll get stuck. And you've no forward movement, no strategizing,
no progression,
no goal setting, no progression, just because you got comfortable with the fact that you made it one time. One time. And, these are things that a lot of people don't think about, like, oh, oh, snap, she's right. Yes. You got to really think about these things. You got to make it practical. You have to make it real. How many times have you done this in your regular life?
Yeah.
Something happened and it's like, oh, this is great. And that great was it for you. And then it wasn't it anymore. You just got comfortable in it. And then you was like, man, I wonder why this is not moving or it's not doing anything. And, oh, dang, it's not moving anymore. Start getting discouraged. It's like, oh, you're holding your head low. What happened? It was going so good. You stopped moving. You stopped looking. You stopped. You thought that was it.
Yes.
You got comfortable.
And you know what it goes back to? Not having enough short-term goals or short,
absolutely
simple things to obtain. Because if you're just looking at all the big things, once you get there, you're like, whew, all right, I'm gonna take a break, and you're gonna get comfortable because you just waited all that time to get to that one big goal. But that's why you need the little ones in between,
and you have to have goals in succession.
Yeah.
So you hit one goal. So what happens when you hit that goal? What's your next marker?
Yeah.
And then what's your next marker? And then what is your next marker? And then if you've hit all your markers, then the next goal is, how do I consistently keep this going? So what do I need to do to strategize to maintain this level of success? Because I've hit my goals, I've exceeded my goals, but now I need to maintain them.
Yes.
Legacy, longevity. How do I continue this in infinitum? How do I make this last?
And that's the work. That's where the work comes in.
That's where the work on the journey comes in.
I think it's easier to obtain, but it's harder to maintain.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You have to be able to maintain your goals, maintain your successes, maintain what you have in front of you. So if you settle on getting comfortable, you block yourself. You get stuck. You are paralyzed. And now you're analyzing what didn't I do? What did I do? Why didn't I move? Oh my God. Yeah. These are the things that you have to really pay attention to.
You do.
So before I go into seeking guidance, do we have any comments in the chat? Or are we good?
I don't see any comments so far.
Okay. If you've got any comments, put them in the chat. Anything you want to say, anything you want to add, anything that you've experienced along the road to getting stuck and unstuck, please share. We're going to read those comments because what happened to you may have happened to somebody else.
Yeah.
If any of these, topics that we chose tonight to share on the things that keep you stuck resonate, talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about it. This is sharing today. Today and next week. I can't wait till next week.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be amazing. So seeking guidance. Oh, can I tell you? Seek a mentor, coach, or consultant. Why? Please. Entrepreneurs who freeze and do nothing when they come to their moment of truth may do so because they don't know what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to achieve success is to work with someone who has already been down the same road.
Yes.
Plenty go wrong in business, but the right mentor can help an entrepreneur navigate the pitfalls and keep moving forward, improving the odds for success. I
Yeah.
am a certified business coach. I am a certified consultant, and I have been a mentor for over 20 years. And I have a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I have four, actually, for four very strategic areas of my life. And two of them are in business. And I still learn and get redirected by my mentors, even my coaches. And I have a business consultant.
Yeah. You have to.
Yes, business consultants have consultants.
Mm-hmm.
Business coaches have coaches, and mentors have mentors.
Yeah.
We are not God.
And we can't get to the next level sometimes.
That's right. And exactly. And there's always someone above us who has done it before. All of my mentors, my consultants, and my coaches have been in the game of what it is that I have been doing for over 40, 50 plus years. And they are a wealth of knowledge. Yeah. And they let me know when I am doing a good job and when I need to redirect. They help me when I hit those roadblocks and those stumbles. If I didn't have someone to talk to and to say, hey, I need your advice, can you give me 30 minutes or an hour? I would be stuck. No man is an island. Nope. And even though I am taking a lot of their best practices and I am creating something even better, that's what you want. Yeah. With my clients, I do the same thing. I want them better and moving forward, even over me. That's my success because I've helped you reach there. Yeah. And that's the mentor success. That's the real domino, is when you've done it and you fall on somebody else and you help them do it, and then they fall on somebody else and then they're doing it, and you keep the cycle going. You got to seek help. Right, right. You have to seek help. I think anyone who goes into entrepreneurship who doesn't have someone to help them, coach them, mentor them, and hold their hand along the way, is like, what do they say? You have a fool for a client when you decide to defend yourself in court. Yes. Yeah. Because you don't know everything. You may know a lot, but you do not know everything. And there's always something else that you can learn. And when you get to a point where you don't know, it is okay. That's when you have to seek. Hey, I hit this roadblock. So I was working with a client, or I was working on this, and I realized that I couldn't figure this out. How did you overcome this? What are some of the things and best practices that you can, share with me so that I can unfreeze and begin to move? How do I strategize? I've hit all my markers, but I know this is not it. Help me move forward. What's my next step? How do I strategize? Because I have this idea, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I go through that. It's not just the people who I work with. It's me too. Well, how about you?
That helps with longevity, though. Helps with longevity. It helps with, there's going to be a brick wall on your journey of entrepreneurship. And I mean brick wall meaning like you've grown and done as much as you can do. And after that, you need someone to step in and give you some pointers how to go beyond where you are. If not, you'll be stuck. Yeah. How can I go beyond where I'm at?
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. We always have to be thinking forward. Yeah. Even if, I don't care if you've had the same product for 30 years, there's still ways in which you can move differently to sustain the longevity. And sometimes you need help in seeing those different outlets to be able to do that.
And just to add something, that will also keep you stuck dealing with this, is knowing when you need a new mentor. Absolutely. In a certain area. Because some mentors bring you to a certain point.
Right.
And when you've gotten to that point, it's not that they're not good or anything. It's just that you've gotten to a certain point. Now you need someone else on another level. And so you want to make sure you're conscious of that and not saying, oh, but they're my mentor. I need, trying to be loyal. But no, it's nothing personal. I need to go to another level now. So I need a new mentor. If not, you'll be stuck because you're trying to stick with the old mentor.
And to add to that is a good coach, a good consultant, and a good mentor will know when they're complete. And when they will then refer you to somebody else to take you to the next level.
Yeah.
I know where my limitations are. Theresa knows where her limitations are. And once we get you to where we know you need to be, we're going to definitely hand you off to your next phase because we know we can't take you there, but we've gotten you this far, and that's damn far. So let's get you even further. And you go further because we're going to say, hey, you're on the next level of your journey. Let me introduce you to so-and-so because this is the person that is going to take you to the next journey. And if they can't, they're going to refer you to somebody who can.
Yeah.
They're going to refer. And that's also a sign of a good mentor, a good coach, a good consultant, because they're not trying to hold on to you just because you're paying their invoice. They understand that they've done all they can and that you've gotten to this very good place, but now it's time for you to grow. Because I've had mentors in succession that have done that for me. And they're like, no, I'm going to introduce you to somebody else because now you need this level of expertise. This is not within my wheelhouse. And they're still my mentors because we've developed that relationship. We've developed a nice flow and a nice cadence. And I can still call on them for certain things. But for that next leg of my journey, I've got somebody new that I can now tap into.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So without guidance, without help, you get stuck.
Yeah.
And you can't run from it. You can't run from it. You just can't. You just can't.
You can't.
10. Ooh, bad health, lack of self-care.
Ooh.
Mental and physical. Let me let that linger there for a minute. Because a lot of people don't realize how strenuous entrepreneurship is, how life is strenuous. Look at the things that we got going on. And then you talking about, I'm going to own a business. I want to create a product or a service. I want to create something for my community while I'm doing everything else. One of the easiest ways to stay stuck is how you care for yourself and how you manage your health. I say you have to cultivate a positive attitude to focus on the things you can control. You can control your diet, how much you sleep, and your ability to exercise. And these factors will help you stay focused, healthy, and positive. And the reason why I bring this up is because it takes an enormous amount of mental energy. And depending on the product or service, it is going to take an enormous amount of physical energy. So if you're battling, high blood pressure and, diabetes and being overweight and depression and sleeplessness and all these things, that's bad health. If, every other day you've got a backache or a headache, or that's bad health. If, just run down the list of health things. I'm not saying everybody who's an entrepreneur is the most healthiest person in the world, no, but you have to work at your health. You have to work at taking care of yourself.
Yes.
You have to work at giving yourself the energy that you need in order to be able to sustain the mental work that you need to do and or the physical work that comes with adding an extra task into your day-to-day. period.
Wow.
If
Yeah.
you don't eat right, so if you're like eating a bunch of heavy foods, there is tons of research on diet and what you put into your mouth and how certain foods will actually bring you down, what times of day you should eat. If you're doing most of your work at night, because that's the time of day, then you don't need to eat heavy at night because you will get sleepy. Not to mention, then you're going to sleep, your food doesn't digest, you're gaining weight in your sleep, which means you don't have the necessary energy that you need. You're waking up lethargic.
Yeah.
And that also affects your motivation and your ability for forward movement. You sleeping only 2 hours a night, you're sleep deprived. Sleep is the best exercise because your body is regenerating during sleep.
Yeah.
So if you're spending, I got to get it done, I'm doing all these things, oh my God, and you're not getting enough sleep, that's going to be a problem and it's going to affect your health. And you're not caring for yourself the way that you need to. Rest is optimal along this journey. You want to be an entrepreneur, go to sleep. They say, entrepreneurs don't sleep. We work 24/7, 365. That is the biggest farce. Because if you are sleep deprived, your brain does not work. Your IQ drops, you're irritable, you're not making good choices.
And you can't think properly. Like you need you need mental breaks. I know, even especially if you're an entrepreneur from home.
Yeah.
I had, when it's nice outside, sometimes I just take a quick brisk walk or like go outside a little bit, like get out of my, atmosphere, because I need a mental break. I just need a little break. And one time I even had to, being an entrepreneur, you work so hard, but I had to when I took a vacation, I basically for 7 days didn't do any business. The business was running on its own, but I didn't think about business. I didn't do business. But when I came back, I had all these fresh ideas.
That's right.
My brain was just like, oh my goodness, it was so many ideas and so many strategies of how to do certain things, all because I took a mental break.
And you took a physical break.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, exercise is key. I'm not saying you exercise to bulk up, but exercise releases certain, chemicals within your body that give you the ability for clearer thought, healthier body, more energy. So even if it's just riding a bike, ride your bike 15, 20 minutes a day, or do little pockets. If it's just going for a walk, get up and move your body. It generates some amazing things when you're able to do that. You have to look at all of this. It keeps you focused. Oh, does it ever? I get up every morning and I exercise, and it keeps me extremely focused. I get through my day. If I don't get up and exercise, let me tell you my morning routine. I get up, my alarm clock goes off. I don't care how groggy or tired I am. I'm like, nope, you got to get up. I get up and I get on my bike. My bike is sitting right next to my bed in my bedroom. I click in to my bike and I am riding. And I do a good 15, 20 minutes every morning. Power spinning. I get off that bike. I do some yoga and or strength training. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. It doesn't have to be a long time. I dedicate exactly 45 minutes to an hour each morning for exercise. That's it. But that 45 minutes to an hour, even if I don't get the full 45 minutes and I only do 30 minutes, the fact that I moved and I woke my body up, I energized myself.
Yes.
My mind is more focused now. I feel better when I'm going to work. I feel better when I'm coming home from work. When I'm at work, if I get a little lethargic, I take a minute. There are stairs at my job. I walk up the steps, I walk down the steps. I take little 5-minute breaks and I just walk up and down the steps. Why? That is exercise. It gets the blood flowing. It gets the body moving. That brings fresh ideas to your brain.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to tell you another thing that you can do that is most overlooked, and that's meditate. Take 5 minutes and breathe. Breathe. meditate. Not, oh, clear your mind. No, meditate with intention. I have little scripts that I write when I know I'm working on something, and I take 5 minutes, 10 minutes throughout the day, and I visualize myself what I wrote. If I know I've got to do this workshop for 6 weeks, I'm taking 5 minutes out of the day, seeing myself, I'm breathing, and I'm visualizing myself really doing a good job, making sure that I am delivering quality information, seeing me and Theresa having these great conversations that are allowing others to be able to glean from our experiences and really hone in and start their journey.
Yes.
And I do that every time before. Why? It helps me and my focus so that I know what I'm talking about to you. But it also helps me to execute in excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care, it's my health. You have to breathe, you have to move, you have to sleep, you have to exercise, you have to eat right.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not telling you to go out and be a vegetarian or a vegan, but you know you don't need the McDonald's because that food weighs you down, even if it's real food.
Makes you sluggish.
It makes you sluggish. So these are things that really can actually get you stuck along the journey, not only in entrepreneurship, but in life. Because if you don't have the energy to accomplish your goals, where you going? What you doing? How you going to do it? Stress. Bad health. Biggest killer. Stress of any kind. Oh my God. More than 1 in 5 people felt lonely or isolated in the past month due to stress. 1 in 4 states that stress has a very strong impact on their physical health. What do you do when we are stressed? We overeat, we watch television, we don't get enough exercise, we smoke, drink, or both. All of these things are detrimental to our health. If we so stressed out that we can't eat right, that we're just being, couch potatoes, we're not moving, then we've officially stagnated ourselves into oblivion for the forward success of our goals, business and or personal.
Yeah.
And you actually make your life worse. Chronic illnesses, more diseases. You could even give yourself a heart attack. Exercising helps to reduce a lot of stress factors. Because again, it starts to move the chemicals around in your body. I don't want to turn this into a whole medical science because I could literally do a whole PowerPoint on this and a whole workshop on health and stress and how it affects your ability to just live and be, let alone you trying to accomplish some goals in life and you're trying to be an entrepreneur on top of all of that. There is a lot of things that happen in both Theresa and our lives. We won't share those lovely details, but we've shared little things with each other along our journey of networking and friendship and collaboration. And I got to tell you, the biggest thing that we work on is maintaining proper stress levels, not allowing ourselves to get into a state where we are stressed out, taking those necessary breaks that we need to work on our mental and physical health when necessary, because it's not an easy journey. Taking the time to, I meditate, Theresa prays, but we take the time to do that daily because we know that these are the things that help us to reduce our stress levels and to make sure that we are not negatively impacting our ability to think and function with all that we have to do and all that we want to do to help people. We learn about the things that are happening in our world. We tap into our spirituality. For some people, some people may be atheists or whatever, but whatever it is, you got to tap into it, whatever understanding that you need to understand that life is going to happen. And that these so-called stressful events are nothing but the adversity that we need to move us along on our journey, to teach us something. There is a lesson in everything. But when we begin to respond in a habitually negative, remember, one of the key things was how we respond, how we respond to adversity. How we respond to adversity is either going to promote stress or reduce stress. And if it's going to promote stress, then it's going to negatively impact our health. And if it's going to negatively impact our health, we begin to be stuck. We are stagnant from our ability to move forward with our goals toward entrepreneurship. So you really got to look at how you're managing stress, how you handle adversity, the things that you tell yourself, your mindset about why is this so stressful? Watch your words. Is it really stressful, or are you just responding to it in a way that, is showing that you're not flexible and you're not adaptable to the fact that life is throwing you a small curveball?
Yeah.
Stress is very real, but it's also manufactured. You manufacture it by your mindset, by how you handle. What is your stress response? You manifest stress by your inability to breathe, to take a minute to pause.
Right.
And to really bring that down. So I would be remiss if I didn't bring up your health in one of the main reasons that will keep you stuck in or stuck. Lack of action. And I know we kind of sprinkled this throughout this whole entire presentation, but lack of action is our last segment. We had 11, and I think this is most important because all of these things lead up to lack of action.
Yeah.
When I sat with this section and I really thought about it, I thought about everybody that we've worked with, everybody that I've worked with over the years. And success, no matter how big or how small the adventure was, required constant movement.
Yeah.
We talked about momentum. We talked about consistency. We talked about all of these things, but I really wanted to hone all of them up into this last one. It was constant movement. It did not matter how slow or how fast, Think about it from a perspective. Success is dependent upon movement and keeping possession of the ball. I like to sometimes talk in sports terms. Teams that stall upon encountering an obstacle lose the ball and ultimately the match. Think about playing a basketball game and they dribble in the ball, they're going, it's defense, it's offense, everybody is going, right? And how many times has the ball got stolen? That's your obstacle. You lost the ball. Somebody was in your face. You didn't know how to deal with that. Damn, they got you. You were stressed out. You got mad. They stole that ball. But did you go get the ball back? Or did you stay stuck? Did you stay in there? Because I done went and got that ball back. We fighting for the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not about to not move. I'm not about to let that moment stop me. I'm going to figure out a way to get that ball back.
Yep, absolutely.
And keep it. You're not stealing this ball from me again. I'm going up for the layup. Alley-oop, we going there. We hitting it. These are the things. How do you manage that? But if you don't, and you be like, dang, he stole the ball from me. You're just sitting there on the court. You lost. Totally lost. And again, like I said, sometimes you need to take a step back sideways to keep moving forward. Oh, snap. He stole that ball from me. So now I got to go this way because I'm about to go get that ball back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got to go around this way. Oh, he got a whole team and another block. I got you though. Because I just saw a way to get through that obstacle. And I'm about to get back to you because I'm going to get my ball back. And then I'm going to go up for the layup, or I'm going to go for that 3. And guess what? I'm going to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent themes that we are running through to get you to understand that these things are so important.
They are very.
It is critical, once you believe in an idea, that you make the step to some form of action right away in order to start building momentum towards your goals.
Mm-hmm.
I got this great idea. I don't care if it's one thing a day that you do. I don't care if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. Make a step is making some form of action. And just do it. Don't wait for perfection. Just do it. Mm-hmm. Start right away. Just keep going, because that builds the momentum and you're moving toward your goals. My favorite thing, many new entrepreneurs, they talk a good game, but they do not follow through. Man, oh man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I have this amazing idea. This is how it's going to go. They can recite it from A to B to Z and back again. And then
what did you do?
And then they sit there. No action. No movement.
Oh no, then you get something like they'll see someone else do it.
That part.
I was going to do that.
I was going to do that. Wow. Man, if I had only moved, if I had only done something, if I had only taken action, because I had that idea at least 5-10 years before they did.
Yes, I'm telling you, I experienced that.
It happens to the best of us.
Yes.
You talk a good game about all these things that you're going to do, but then you don't follow through. And then somebody else has your idea or close to it. And you see the success and you sitting here like, all I needed to do was move.
Do something.
Just do something. Look, what Nike say, just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. But instead, we was waiting for the right time. We was waiting for perfection. We was doubting ourselves. Negative mindset, negative words. We were doing all these things that we just didn't need to do.
Yeah.
And we did not move. We did not follow through. We did not follow through on the idea. Some believe that the toughest part of launching a new business is arriving at a great idea. I've got this great idea. While that's essential, more important is what's done to execute and bring a product to market.
Yeah.
What's your product? If your product is you, what are you doing to bring you to market? Have you sat down? Are you setting goals? Are you building out your business plan? Are you doing your research? What are you doing? No, it's easy to come up with an idea.
Oh yeah, everybody have ideas.
I have at least 15 good ideas a day.
Yeah.
Hey, got to write them down just so I don't forget. But what am I doing to execute? To see if I can manifest those ideas.
Yep.
To incorporate that into my businesses. If I'm not doing anything, if I'm putting no action to it, then that idea is nothing.
Just an idea.
It is. It's like it's like the little clouds that form over your head, and then it's like, and you see it, and then all of a sudden it disappears. And you're like, oh, what was I thinking again?
I truly believe, I was speaking to someone, I truly believe that, everyone gets ideas.
All the time.
And your idea may be unique. It may be a great idea.
Right.
But if you don't move on it, it's like it goes from person to person to see who's going to act on it.
Oh, I believe that.
And then a couple years from now or whatever from now, someone's going to do what you thought of.
That's right.
It's going to come, it's going to manifest. It's just whether it's going to manifest through you
or through somebody else. Yeah. I don't know how many times I have heard, I had that idea. Man, if only I would have done that. Because I had that idea. Lack of action.
Yep.
Like I said, don't talk what you can't walk. Don't talk what you can't walk. Walking is the action.
Mm-hmm.
In order for something to manifest, an action has to be put behind it. If you just keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, but you put no action to it, then you're missing a major part of the equation.
Yes.
Because they go hand in hand.
Yep.
The importance of action is not just pertinent to a business launch, because owners of established businesses may also be stopped in their tracks in the face of challenges posed by regulations, advances in technology, and the overall economy. We spoke about this. Mm-hmm. COVID stopped a lot of people in its tracks. Over the years, I mean, the economic crash, what was it, 2008? There are so many different things over the years. The Great Depression, start thinking about all the economic things, all the advances in technology that have happened over the years, the advent of the computer, the advent of smartphones, the advent of a lot of different things, right? All of these things, you know, came into play. All of these things came into play.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Yeah. All of these, and it stopped a lot of people. They faced great challenges. They didn't know how to act and how to really move forward at all whatsoever. They just didn't know how. What are you going to do? You have to be flexible. You have to be adaptable. You have to think strategically. You cannot lose momentum. You have to make sure that you're managing the stress of what is happening in the world correctly, because these things are going to happen. They are going to happen. You have to be a forever student. Like one of the participants said, you have to seek knowledge. You can't be scared of the unknown, because the unknown is going to happen. Just look at the way life has evolved over time. There's always going to be something bigger and better coming. So how are you preparing for that? And if you don't act upon and be able to forecast on what could potentially come and really pay attention to those things, that lack of action will stick you, and you will surely fail. You know? You got to keep moving no matter what. It's always about progression. It's always about understanding the obstacles that come up. It's always about not becoming paralyzed by the challenges, but instead finding a way around them. Do not sit still. Keep moving. Just keep moving. Just everything in life is going to keep moving. It is going to challenge you, and you have to be ready for those challenges. Yeah. You know, one of the main reasons why Theresa and I sat down and we decided to do this boot camp and to really try to pack as much of this in as possible is because we understood how many people we have seen over the last 3 to 5 years have something good in their midst and fail because they just were not properly prepared for the journey. Right. There are more aspects of the journey that we are going to try and uncover in the coming months and years, and try to hone it and do what we can collaboratively and individually to bring this information to people. But this foundation is so important. It's so important. And the whole goal that we have is that you build upon this. You take it and you really take it to heart. You really start looking at yourself. You really start looking at your business. You really start looking at your ideas. You really start evaluating. You really start planning and really take these foundational things into play so that you can have something that is sustainable and, you know, and successful by your standards of success. Nobody else's. They're yours. So if there are any questions, if there are anything else that anybody wants to know. Do we have any more questions and or comments in the chat, Theresa?
Let's see. None right now, but I guess I'll give them a couple seconds to see if anyone types.
Okay.
You might want to type something. I know while, if someone's typing, this has been an awesome journey.
It has been an awesome journey.
With the entrepreneurs,
Yes.
Like a journey for us with the entrepreneurs. And, we covered so much, oh my goodness, just going back to even just the first session of, building the foundation, what is entrepreneurship, vision clarity,
mindset,
all that stuff, budgeting. Budgeting, the whole finances and everything, and and even just coming to this in regards to just that the journey for yourself as personally, but also that will affect your business.
That's right.
This is what the journey is.
It's what the journey is.
It is, and I'm just hoping that all the entrepreneurs are able to gain so much from this, because we want you to be prepared, equipped for the journey. And whether you decide to take the journey or not, you are aware of what is expected, what may take place, what it may look like. But like you said, Rasheeda, every journey is different, but you get an idea of what to expect.
The foundation of it doesn't change. The foundation is, it is what it is. You're going to experience this on some level along your journey. The goal is to be prepared for that unknown and not be afraid of it.
Yeah.
You have the tools. You have some very key tools now in your toolkit, in your entrepreneurship toolkit, to be able to say, you know what? I know that I'm going to hit a roadblock. But I've got a couple of strategies that'll help me divert and maneuver.
Yeah.
And now you also have two people, should you choose one of us, to be able to say, hey, let me see if I can email or call Rasheeda, or let me see if I can email or call Theresa. And would they be willing to work with me? Would they be willing to, take me on and say, hey, work with me for like 3 to 6 months so that I can really get a little bit more one-on-one and deeper, because I'm really serious about what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Or someone else, because you have to go with who speaks to you.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to go with who you feel is going to be the best to help you and who you're going to be most receptive to. But at the end of the day, the goal is, and I think we've accomplished that from session 1 through 5 thus far, is to get you ready.
Yes.
This was all about preparation and starting the journey of entrepreneurship. Because it is not just, I woke up, I had an idea, I'm going to go get an LLC or S Corp, and we start in this business. I ain't never seen a journey that start like that. It's all of that, and then all the work that goes into it, all the research, all the knowledge base, all the reshaping of our lives, of our minds, and making sure that we're properly documenting everything that we're doing. So that we are really ready, and understanding that even if it looks perfect, you're going to have to go back over it and over it and over it. It is not something that is just going to stay. No. You have to keep revisiting every aspect. And then you're going to have those little caveats and those little crossroads that are going to come in, those little obstacles, and, the little boulder. Think of it like, what was that famous video game? Super Mario or Donkey Kong, when they kept throwing the things down and you had to dodge all those obstacles to be able to beat. Honey, that's entrepreneurship in a video game. Oh, you about to throw this bucket at me, but I got to smash that bucket because I got to get around that bucket because I got to go get up to the top.
Yeah.
And then I got to get to the next level. And then I got to get to the next level. And I got to keep beating these levels, no matter how many obstacles you throw at me. But I'm going to do it because I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to persevere through every single obstacle that is thrown my way, because it's only going to make me stronger.
Yeah.
And the more I do it, the more I realize that I can dodge and weave around a lot of those obstacles. They're not really obstacles. They're just meant to push me in the direction that I need to go to reach my goal. That's it.
And sharpen you as an entrepreneur.
It sharpens you. It does. It sharpens your mind. It sharpens your focus. It sharpens your ability to reason. You know, so one of the things that I didn't add, but I'm going to add it as a caveat in this conversation. You have to consistently be developing yourself, personally and professionally.
Personal development, oh my goodness.
Personal and professional development is very key, and it's something that everybody should be doing. And you really need to make sure that that is always the foundation of where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because if you're not working on yourself personally, and if you're not working on yourself professionally, consider that a bonus. You'll get stuck because you're going to have the same mindset. You're going to have the same habits. You're going to be doing the same things that keep you stuck. Personally, it's not going to help you professionally.
Yeah.
So think about that as you know, again, these things are interchangeable. They're intertwined. There's not my business and then there's me. No, it's all together because you are your business. It's not, oh, that's my business brand, but I can go over here and act all crazy. No, you are your brand. Look at some of these superstars. They are their brand. So when they start acting crazy, their brands start getting real crazy.
Yeah.
Why? Because they are their business. They are their brand.
Yeah.
Who you are as a person is going to reflect in the product and or service that you're going to be providing under the name of your business. And you want to make sure that you are constantly developing and growing in a positive way that is in alignment with what you're also trying to produce and give out. Because when they meet you, they're not meeting your business. They're not saying, hi, hi, Kingdom Legacy Partnerships. Hi, Empowering Greatness. No, they're going, hi, Theresa. Hi, Rasheeda. And it's Rasheeda and Theresa that move us forward, move our businesses forward, makes someone say, you know, I like how they speak. I like how they present themselves. I like the knowledge that they represent. I like all those things. And these are the things that I know that because of who they are as a person, I am going to get from their service. So always remember, you're always looking for personal and professional development along your journey. That's your bonus tip. We have something in the chat. Thank you, ladies. All of these tools have a really nice duality because they can be applied to our personal lives and our entrepreneurial journey. So glad that I decided to attend each session. I have so much more direction. Ooh,
that's awesome.
That is awesome. That's all we wanted. That is what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that you had more direction, more clarity along, more things to really look at. So that's very key. Yeah. So I'm really excited by that. Oh, how you feeling, Theresa?
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to next week because it's just more information, like more, personal testimonies or just personal stories or just hearing from other entrepreneurs about the journey. I think it'll be just helpful for aspiring and new entrepreneurs to hear from their peers in a sense,
So next week, we are at our last session. I'm a little sad, as well as excited because I've had so much fun on this 6-week journey to getting you guys prepared on the journey. But we have a few phenomenal entrepreneurs that we know. These are not like big in the media entrepreneurs, but they are big. You don't have to be in the media to be big.
Yeah.
You do not have to be in the media to be big. You have to be consistent and successful in your area to be big. And some of the most humblest people that you will never meet are some of the most successful people.
Yeah.
And they have a story, and we've been able to tap into our network of entrepreneurs, which some of them have become our dear friends. Some of them are our dear friends, associates, and they've agreed to lend their time and energy and talking about their journey in entrepreneurship. So you guys are really in for a treat next week. I believe we have 4 entrepreneurs who are going to be coming on, 2 from Theresa and 2 from me. And it's going to be a panel. So you will see 6 beautiful faces. We're going to introduce each one of them next week. So you will hear a little bit of background about each of them. We ask each of them to just prepare a short bio, just a few sentences, so you can get an understanding of their background and who they are. And then we're going to allow them to talk about the journey. We're going to really moderate and ask some questions and really get the dialogue going, because everybody has a unique story. Everybody has something that they can talk about in terms of how the journey started for them and the obstacles that they had to go through to be able to hit the level of where they are. And I think that's so key and so important to be able to hear that, not just from me and Theresa, but to see that there are other amazing people out here in this world who didn't give up.
Right.
And who are doing it. And no, it's not easy, but it's doable. So we are really looking forward to that last session. Like I said, you're going to meet some amazing, amazing people. I don't know if you want to just give them a prelude. Who are the 2 people that you're inviting? Just their names. We're gonna say.
These are just their names.
Just their names.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have Miss Sylvia White, and then I also have Miss Veronica Kirkland.
Okay, and then I have Miss Latricia Friend, and I also have Mr. Dadon Baldwin. So we've got a little testosterone in the mix, which is going to be really good.
That's always good.
And you're going to really hear about all 4 of their journeys, and they're going to give you some more key things and insight. And, as much as me and Theresa love to talk, and we will be talking, we're really going to try and have them spotlighted and really have them sharing. We're just going to be moderating and really asking a lot of questions to be able to pull this story out. And I think that's going to be so key for you once you come on next week. And it's going to be such a nice round off to, the journey of entrepreneurship. So we are going to close with that. And we are so excited. And we thank everybody who has been sticking with us through the whole entire sessions. We've made it to week 5. It feels like just yesterday we started session 1. And, next week is our last session. And I am looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to see you guys again next week. So everyone, please have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.